And the elderly woman says she was attacked by her by her employer's son after he had complained about alleged corruption by politicians and government officials amid the scandals surrounding COVID-19 procurement in the country at the moment. The matter has been postponed to the 8th of September for further investigation. To discuss the extent of abuse of domestic workers and indeed racism, we're joined by the founder of the United Domestic Workers of South Africa, Bongiwe Mashiane. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Let's just start with your reaction to an incident like this.
Good evening. What I can say, I was angered, I was disgusted by what happened to Mama Mkhonza. This should have not happened, more especially by somebody that she took care of while still at the age of 5 years. Today, after 22 years, he's attacking her. And you can see that this hatred and anger has been there for a very long time. It didn't just came and that he just jumped and beat her up. Something was developing in him for a long time. He's been carrying this anger and hatred inside him for a long time. And Mama has to pay for the government people, for the president, for CIC, for former president. Why? Just because she's a domestic worker, because she's helpless, an elderly woman. Justice must prevail.
And this, of course, signals some of the challenges that domestic workers themselves grapple with on a daily basis. You know, such incidents are really not new. We've been hearing of domestic workers coming out to complain about the abuse that, you know, they say they suffer at the hands of their employers. When will it stop, and how can it really stop?
Domestic workers have to stand up and fight back. They have to take these cases to court. We have to make and take actions as unions and NPOs and NGOs who are supporting us to fight this kind of violence against domestic workers. It's even worse that this racism happened during this time when we are celebrating the Women's Month. It's really angering. And what was inside of this boy's mind, I don't know, but the parents as well, because he did that at the presence of the parents. What did they say to him? What's happening here? How could somebody attack somebody who has stayed with them for 22 years, supposed to be his grandmother? And while the parents were there, if the parents were not there, we could have said he was drunk because he was speaking about buying liquor, that the liquor is now allowed to be sold. Maybe he was drunk, but he did that right there. Then when he told her that now alcohol is allowed to be consumed, then he attacked Mama.
And Bongiwe, I also just want to, you know, I know that you've reached out to Khabonina and you are going to be seeing her soon. What kind of action will then follow from your side? Because we do know that there is a criminal case and the suspect is out on 500 rand bail. But what are you calling for on your side in terms of accountability?
I'm calling on activists and those domestic workers that can come forward. I want us to go to that employer's house and stand right there at the gate and sing the slogan saying enough is enough. This is the time that we stand up for ourselves. Let us go, let us march, let us go and picket at that house.
And what would justice look like for you?
Justice for me, this guy must be locked in jail. I hear that he got 500 rand bail after beating an elderly woman in South Africa. That's justice system, 500 rand bail. So we are not happy about that. You are supposed to be still in bars as we speak. So we want him to go to jail, rot in jail, and be punished for what he has done, and to send a message to all the racists that we have in this country and in the world as well, that racism is not going to be tolerated. Whether it's inequality, racism, whatever, nobody has a power over any human being.
Thank you so much for your time tonight. That's Bongiwe Mashiane there, who is with the United Domestic Workers of South Africa, just outlining some of the things that are going to be taking place, and even saying that they're calling for activists to go and picket outside the suspect's home.